life in a village is different from life in a town or city. Urban life has many advantages. That is why many people choose to have a home in a town or a city. In spite of that, village life has its own charm. You can find some things in the village which you never find in a city or town. Simplicity of human behavior, friendship, intimacy, and most importantly, living close to nature. These are certain things that make village life distinct from urban life. So, everywhere in the world, villages mean something else. It has a different meaning from what we understand about a town or a city. The poem we are going to study today is a small one. It is a very small poem. Although it is a small poem, it speaks about a huge, a vast country. From this small poem, we will get an idea about rural life in a vast country, and that country is none other than our own country, India. So, the poem is Village Song by Sarojini Naidu. Here, Sarojini Naidu has beautifully depicted how poor people in remote villages live their life. Exactly the same may not be the case in today's India, but to a large extent, what the poet has described in this poem still holds good. Sarojini Naidu is a name which is very popular in India, not only in terms of literature. She was a poet, but she is more known for her wonderful role in India's freedom movement. She was a revolutionary, she was a Congress leader, and after independence, she was the first woman governor of an Indian state, Uttar Pradesh. So, Naidu was not her original name. Her ancestral title was Chattopadhyay. Her father's name was Ogulnath Chattopadhyay, and they were living in Hyderabad, and as a result of her marriage to Dr. Govinda Rajulu Naidu, she got the title Naidu. The details of the poet and her literary career, her contribution to writing and her contribution to Indian freedom movement, you will find at the beginning of the poem. You can read them from the text itself. We will concentrate mainly on the poem Village Song by Sarojini Naidu. And the poem is very interesting, very simple, very easy to understand, very small, but it talks about a vast country, our country, and it gives a very beautiful description of rural India. See the poem first. Full are my pitchers and far to carry, lone is the way and long. Why, oh why was I tempted to tarry, lured by the boatman's song? Swiftly the shadows of night are falling, here, oh here is the white crane calling. Is it the wild owl's cry? There are not tender moonbeams to light me, if in the darkness a serpent should bite me, or if an evil spirit should smite me, Ram re Ram, I shall die. My brother will murmur, why doth she linger? My mother will wait and weep, saying, oh safe may the great gods bring her, the Jamuna's waters are deep. The Jamuna's waters rush by so quickly, the shadows of evening gather so thickly, like black birds in the sky. Oh, if a storm breaks, what will betide me? Safe from the lightning, where shall I hide me? Unless thou succor my footsteps and guide me, Ram re Ram, I shall die. So, let us discuss the poem now. Beautiful poem it is. Full are my pitchers and far to carry. The very first line is beautiful and it carries some poetic figures, some literary devices. Full are my pitchers and far to carry. The word full is the first word. As we know how a sentence is constructed in English, the subject should come first, and in that sense the line should have been, my pitchers are full. Instead of my pitchers are full, the poet is saying, full are my pitchers. Similar lines you will find next time also. and this has got a name. This is a literary device. This is a way poets and authors often employ in their writing for some purpose. Here the purpose is to give emphasis on the fullness of the container, the jar that is called pitcher that the guard was carrying. This poem is the narrator here in the poem is a village girl, and she is narrating her agony, her miserable state when she went to fetch water from the river Jamuna. She went to fetch water from the river Jamuna. She was carrying her pitcher with her. On her way back from the river, when her pitcher was full and the way is a long one to reach home, she was lamenting, she was repenting, she was blaming herself why she did not return on time, why she delayed her return. Why did she delay? That we will find in the poem. So, the narrator is a village girl who is telling us her sad story of how she delayed her return journey from the river, as a result of which the difficulty that she faced. And in narrating her story, through this narration, the poet is telling us a lot of things about rural India, life lived by poor villagers in India. So, the girl is saying, full are my pitchers and far to carry. This is called Hyperbaton. This is called Hyperbaton. You might have heard the word Hyperbaton earlier. Hyperbaton is a literary device. What is this? When the author or the poet use the words in their unusual order. Words should be used, they should follow a certain sequence to give a meaning. Accordingly, this line should have been, my pitchers are full. But the poet uses the line, full are my pitchers. By bringing the word full at the beginning, the poet is giving emphasis that the pitcher is, it is a vessel for carrying and storing water. We are very familiar with it. It has a round shape, and that it also has a neck, and ladies and girls, they take it by their side and they hold it with their arm, and in this way they carry it home. That was a picture in olden times. Nowadays at home you have your water supply facilities, you have your tap in the kitchen, in the bathroom, everywhere. You don't need to go out, but that was the time, and that may be still the life of some people in some remote areas where you have to go far away from your home, and from there you have to carry water to your home from river or from lake or pond. That was the time. So the girl, she went to fetch water. That is her usual day-to-day activity. Every day she goes. That is how they live. While coming back, she said, full are my pitchers and far to carry. My pitchers are full. I have taken water. I have filled it completely, and the way to my home is very long. Far to carry. I have to carry this full pitcher a long way. Lone is the way. Lone, it means lonely. Lone. The way is lone, there is no human being seen. I am the only one in the evening with my pitcher in my arms and moving. Lone is the way and long. Again, instead of saying the way is long, the poet is saying lone is the way. In the second line, again we have got another example of Hyperbaton. Why, oh why was I tempted to tarry? Tempted means when you you are influenced by something and you do accordingly. For example, you find someone singing a beautiful song and you cannot resist it, and you stop listening to it, and as a result you get delayed. That is what happened to the little girl. She said, oh why was I tempted to tarry? Tarry. Tarry means to linger or to delay. When she had filled her pitcher, she was supposed to immediately start her return journey, but instead of that, what she did was that she was tempted to tarry. She could not move. She delayed her return journey because she was tempted. She was lured. She said, lured by the boatman's song. Tempted and lured are similar in meaning. Lured by the boatman's song. Yes, boatman. That is also a picture of our rural India. In ancient times, when this water transport was the only means of transport, no vehicles were there. Even if vehicles were there, they were limited to towns and cities. In villages, people have to do their transportation, they have to go somewhere with the help of boat only. So, boatman's song has a lot of influence on rural Indian people. When a boatman goes, he is maybe all alone and out of his, in order to remove his boredom of being alone, he sometimes sings a song, or in order to give himself comfort, he sings a song. Those songs were usually love songs or song about life. And this girl said that a boatman, while he was going on his boat in the river Jamuna, he started singing a song, and the girl, she got tempted, she got lewd, she could not move her steps, she stopped and listened to the boatman. Yes, you cannot resist it when you hear. Think about a village, a very interior village where nowadays you have your mobile phone and everything, films and songs and everything you have in the mobile, in internet, in Google, you have it, you have YouTube channel, you can listen to them. But the time that the poet is referring to was an olden time when boatmen would sing, and those songs would have its influence on the village people would listen to it. So, it was a folk song, the boatman song. For example, if you were traveling through a rural area and you hear someone saying, Bandhu tin din tor badat galam de kapailam na are, then you will definitely feel tempted, and you will feel like listening to it more and more. The same is the case. The girl said that I was tempted to tarry, I could not move, I was lured by the boatman's song, and now she is saying, why did I do it? Because I got delayed, and now it is already late and I have to go a long way. It's a lonely way, my pitchers are full, I have to carry this heavy load, and it's a long way, I have to go all alone. It's a difficult journey. She has started repenting now. Swiftly the shadows of night are falling. That is another bad news. Swiftly means very quickly. Shadows of night. Shadows of night means darkness. Shadow means absence of enough light. When night falls, gradually you see light of the day is going and going. It's getting removed, and gradually it is getting dark and dark. That is called shadows of the night. Swiftly the shadows of night are falling. It means gradually night is approaching. Here, oh, here is the white crane calling. Here you find another picture of rural India. What is it? In rural India, people are superstitious. They believe in some things which don't deserve to be believed. See the picture. The girl is saying, is the white crane calling? White crane is a kind of bird with long feet and it has a long feet, and it is very beautiful to see. It's white. White crane calling. Call made by the white crane is also supposed to be a sign of danger. This is how rural people believe. Another sign is it the wild owl's cry? Actually, a crane is, white crane is calling, and the girl supposes it to be, she thinks it is an wild owl calling. Wild owl's call actually is superstitious, and when you are in difficulty, when you are afraid, at that time something very ordinary may seem to you to be really dangerous. For example, you are all alone and suddenly on the way you see a cord or a piece of something, you think it's a snake and you start getting shivering, you are afraid. This is because you are alone and you are already afraid, so the appearance, a small cord appeared to your eyes to be a snake only. When the wild crane is calling, the girl thought it the calling of the sound of a wild owl, and if wild owls cry, that is supposed to be a sign of impending danger. The girl has started thinking whether there is any danger for me, because wild owl is crying, and wild owl's cry means danger. Again, she is telling and sharing with us her more unfortunate situation. There are no tender moonbeams to light me. Yes, if it is a moonlit night, moon will shine and then you will get some light, and light given by a moon is not as bright, as clear as that of sun during daytime. Still, moonbeams help us. Moonlight at night does help us. So that is why, since it is a tender light, it is not as strong as sunlight, so the word tender is used. There are not tender moonbeams to light me. There is no moonlight to guide me, to show me the way. Why? This seems to be the second half of the lunar month. In the second half of the lunar month, moon appears late. So, there is no moonlight to light me. If in the darkness a serpent should bite me, serpent means snake, the girl is afraid. All these tell us about rural India. If in the darkness a serpent should bite me, suddenly there is no moonlight, it's a dark night is approaching and darkness will become more and more gradually. I have to pass through this situation, and if suddenly in the darkness a snake bites me, what will happen to me? This kind of apprehension, this kind of thought only a rural people may feel. People living in urban areas may not have any idea about how these situations are. Again, she is also afraid if an evil spirit should smite me. Smite means if an evil spirit is the belief in ghosts and what is it called? All other invisible objects that people believe that yes, those ghosts and other things, they may have their evil influence on us. They may cast their wicked charm on us. As a result, we may fall sick, we may suffer. So, this is what the girl is thinking. This is again another feature of rural Indian people's thought and beliefs. And when this is the situation, she makes an exclamation. She chants some name of God. That is again another picture of rural India. In rural society, people are more religious. They are more God fearing. Their faith. They are more honest and simple. So, for every difficulty, they approach God, they take help from God. The same is the case. The girl, when she is in such a dangerous situation, she takes help from God. She makes a prayer to God. She exclaims using God's name, saying, Ram, Re Ram, I shall die. If this is the situation, in this difficult situation, I will die. But by this I will die, I shall die, it means I will be in a serious difficult situation which may be fatal. So, using God's name, she is exclaiming, she is telling her sad situation. This is the first stanza, and this poem has two stanzas. Coming to the second stanza again, now you see the girl is telling us about how at home, the people living at her home, the members of her family, how they will think about her, how they will react. Here again we get picture of rural India. She is telling about her brother. My brother will murmur. Murmur means to make a low sound which is not intelligible to all. My brother will murmur. Why doth she linger? Doth means does. This is the old use of does. D-O-E-S, does. In the olden time it was D-O-T-H, doth. Why doth she linger? Linger means the same word delay. Earlier we got the word tarry. It means delay. And now you have got linger. They are all synonymous. Her brother will murmur in a very low sound. He will say, why is she delaying? Why hasn't she returned yet? This is how her brother will react. And see how her mother will react. My mother will wait and weep, saying, oh, safe may the great gods bring her. The Jamuna's waters are deep. What will the mother do? Mother will do three things. Firstly, she will wait for me eagerly. Secondly, when she will find that I have not reached home yet, she will start weeping for me. Thirdly, she will pray to God, my God, please bring my daughter back home. See again the difference. Her brother is a young man, or at least he is a male person, and see the difference between the male and female psychology. Male people, they bother less about things. Why doesn't she come? That is how her brother will react. So far as her mother is concerned, she is a woman first, and secondly, it's a mother's heart for a daughter. Her mother's reaction will be more. She will not just say like her brother, why hasn't she returned? She will wait, and then she will cry, and then she will make a prayer to God. Making a prayer, elderly people are more God fearing. So her mother will pray to God for her safe return. Again you see this sentence, this line, oh, safe may the great gods bring her. The usual order of words should be, may the great gods bring her safe. But the author has here also used hyperbaton. Hyperbaton is frequently used in this poem. So this is how her mother will react. Her mother will say, the Jamuna's waters are deep. And now again the poet is also saying the same thing. The narrator is also saying the same thing. The Jamuna's waters rush by so quickly. Why is waters? We all know water is an uncountable noun. It's a material noun. It's not used in plural. But here using the word water, poets, they have some license. It is called poetic license. They have some freedom to use certain words in such ways in which other people cannot. This is called poetic license, and by using this poetic license, Sarojini Naidu has used waters instead of water. Why? because by using s, by using the plural number, she means to say the heaviness of the river. The river is heavy with water, it's full river, and there is a huge quantity of water. It is not, the water level is not down, it's full. To mean this, she has used s after the word water. The Jamuna's waters rush by so quickly, Jamuna's water, the current is very fast, the water moves very fast, and in such a situation, what will happen if my daughter somehow falls, becomes a victim to this river? All these thoughts, all these apprehensions will come to the mind of the narrator's mother. This is how she is thinking, that my mother will react in this way, my brother will react in that way. The shadows of evening gather so thickly. Shadows of evening gather so thickly. It means evening darkness is approaching more and more. It is becoming more and more dark. It is becoming completely dark very soon, like black birds in the sky. If black birds in the sky, they signify danger. Black birds in the sky, this, when you have a look at them, you don't feel that they are not that beautiful to look. Blackness is there. So black birds in the sky, they do not give comfort, they do not give charm, they do not give happiness to your eyes. The same is the case with the shadows of evening gathering so thickly. It means gradually it is getting more and more dark, and night it is almost night now. So this situation the narrator is narrating before us. Oh, if a storm breaks, she is also afraid. Earlier she was afraid of any snake biting her, any evil spirit smiting her, and hearing white cranes calling, she became afraid, and now she is afraid of a storm. She said, if a storm breaks, it means if a storm starts, what will betide me? Betide means happen. What will happen to me? There is no habitation, there is no place of shelter. Where shall I take shelter? Where shall I take refuge? What shall I do all alone in the way if suddenly a storm breaks? Safe from the lightning, where shall I hide me? If there is storm, if there is lightning and thundering sound from the sky, where shall I keep myself safe? Where shall I hide myself from all these dangerous situations? She is really very afraid. And finally, the girl is also taking help of God. This is how Indian people believe, that whatever religion they believe in, rural people have simplicity of mind. They think that it is God ultimately who will take care of me. It is God who can give me shelter. It is God who can do everything good for me. So the girl herself, like her mother is a God-fearing woman. She will pray to God, and ultimately the girl herself is making a prayer to God that this is the situation. Night is approaching, darkness is approaching. I see sound of white crane, and I am afraid of snakes and evil spirits, and I am afraid of any kind of storm that may break, and lightning, etc. And in this dangerous situation, I have no way, God, only you are the only way, you are the only one who can save me. So she says, unless thou succor my footsteps. Succor, S-U-C-C-O-U-R. Succor means to help, to strengthen, to give you more strength, to give you courage. Unless thou succor my footsteps, unless you give me strength in my steps. So there is a line I remember by Rabindranath Tagore, Bipode more rokka koro, ena hoy mor prarthana, bipode ami na jane kori bhoy. Don't help me, don't rescue me in a dangerous situation. Just my prayer to you is that in a dangerous situation, I should not be afraid. I should not have fear in my mind. That is my prayer to God. And similarly, the girl is praying to God that strengthen my footsteps so that I don't feel fear. If you do not do this, I will be lost. I will be totally lost. So she is making a prayer finally to God that you help me, you strengthen my footsteps, you guide me. Ram Re Ram, I shall die. If you do not help me, if you don't rescue me, I will be totally lost, I will die. So this poem is a very beautiful, a clear picture, a nice picture of rural life in India, how people live, their poverty, and the simple life they live, the girls going to the river and coming, and the influence of boatmen, the folk song on the life of common people, and the repentance the girl makes, the superstitious belief, and the closeness among members of the family. The girl thinks it very well, she knows it very well. Her brother will feel anxious about her, her mother will cry and she will make prayer to God. This shows close-knit family, this family, the intimacy among different members of the family. So, how family life is, how village life is, how poor they are, how they believe in God, how they believe in superstition, all these things that mark life in rural India are so beautifully projected by Sarojini Naidu in this small poem. So, this small poem is about a vast country, our country, and it's very beautifully written, very beautifully rural Indian life is projected in this poem. I am sure you will love the poem, and if you are benefited from my discussion, I will be really very happy. Wishing to meet you soon in another video with a new topic. Thank you very much.